welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Carrie Favel. I go by Cypress, and it is my dream to be an entertainer. So if you are at all entertained by this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. So first, how are we liking these fake bangs? They are clip-in, but this is my real hair. You can tell by the horrible roots. I'm working on that, don't worry. I'm paranoid about bleaching my own hair, but I wanted to do my hair at home. So it's like, oh, do I ruin my hair but save like a couple $100? I'm not sure I want to do that, Anyway, again, this is kind of in a weird stasis. I am still playing. I'm having so much fun doing these kind of like commentary thing. I always kind of wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure that I could carry my own conversation with myself, if that makes sense. But I am really having fun with this, more so than I think like personal story times, because I do have some fun and funny stories. And I'm more than like I'm an open book, so I'm more than happy to share those. I have a few of them written down as like kind of like backup, when if nothing's happening, I can talk about them. But in terms of like being an entertainer, I feel like it's more just kind of sitting here and talking to you about things that can be a conversation. I really do love that, the performance art of that, of, making things just more texturized, I guess. So I don't think I'll ever be a like a reaction channel. There are a few things where I'd love to actually react to a reaction. I keep playing with the idea of doing devil's advocate, because some of those like try not to cringe videos can get kind of like, they're funny, but they can get kind of mean towards people. And I am always one of those. I don't think I have toxic positivity, but I am definitely one of those that like, hey, let's support and build each other up, not, pull each other down. So I thought that might be fun, a fun challenge to like find the silver lining to things. And of course, there are some things out there that just you can't defend. But I'm talking about like the more light and playful stuff. So anyway, that's enough of that, just letting you know that that's kind of like where my mind is. So right now I am still doing the collection of articles that I'm talking about. I'm still toying with like maybe making the video specific to one topic. I'm still dancing on that. So if you do have any opinions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. If there's anything that you'd really specifically like me to talk about, I'm also kind of debating right now if I still continue to lean into voice acting, which is my day job, or if I kind of change it to be more broad, nerdy. My other channel is a gaming channel, so if I did more gaming news over here, that kind of just like incorporates really nicely. So that kind of stuff. Just let me know what you would like to see, what you are actually interested in, and I would be more than happy to kind of talk on that, as long as I genuinely have an interest in it, because I do think those who try to do stuff just because they're trending and popular, but they don't actually care about it, I think it shows through. So I do definitely want to be genuine and authentic. But I also want to talk about stuff that people will watch and actually enjoy and talk with me back. I would love to, have that conversation. I love reading viewers' comments and talking to them. I do that a lot on the gaming channel, but I'd love to do that over on this channel as well. So I talked too much. Let's continue. So, first there was a death, and I think I want to maybe make a section where I just discuss those that we've lost in that week that I've known, rather than drag out a long thing about them. Not that the person doesn't deserve that attention and that respect, but I feel like it's a little too finite. It's dark in a classic way. I don't know how to describe it, and I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but I hope you can kind of understand what I mean, that focusing on someone's death when we're talking about the news and the trending topics, it just doesn't feel like it aligns. Like, there's one thing like scandals and lighthearted drama, like, oh, this person said this, that kind of, like, there's one in here that's a perfect example of what I mean. But the passing of a life is just, um it's so much heavier that I don't know that it blends with what else I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm giving them the respect that they deserve. So, because of that, I'm going to limit what I say. So, just so you know, Tom Sizemore passed away at the age of 61. He was mostly known, at least on this channel, I'll say, for Grand Theft Auto's Vice City's Sonny Forelli. His actual date of death appears to be March 3rd of 2023. And according to reports, Tom was hospitalized after suffering a brain aneurysm and collapsing at his Los Angeles home during the early hours of February 18th. If you want more details and information, obviously, as always, the link is in the description so you can read a little bit more on that. So, as I just mentioned in the blurb before, this is the perfect example of the drama, the scandal that I want to cover. Um, and I just love how the title is said, so I'm just going to copy that. Anime voice actor asks fans to please bathe before her concert. That's right. Rie Takahashi, a Genshin Impact voice actor, is trying to make the world of nerd events smell a little bit better. So, of course, she didn't just come out and say, y'all smell. She drew this cute little handmade, I'll put it here, this handmade notes on how to really enjoy her concert. And of course, a part of that is showing a person cutting their nails and washing with soap and water. And she explained that this would help avoid bothering other people with nasty body odor. Apparently, one fan replied saying they couldn't bathe due to an injury. I feel like I need more information on that. And so they were going to use perfume instead. And Takahashi pointed out that some people don't like the smell of strong perfumes either. And so she suggested using wet wipes to clean themselves, which is actually a really great and thoughtful response. And yeah, I've worked in a few office jobs where you were not allowed. One place in particular said do not wear perfume. You were allowed to wear deodorant, but you were not allowed to wear perfume because someone had a sensitivity. Everywhere else was just like you can't use scented air fresheners, scented candles, that kind of stuff in your cubicle because that aroma could, mess with people. So you on your person were allowed to wear perfume. You just weren't allowed to make your cubicle smell. That one place that said you can't wear perfume was weird, but yeah, so I think it's natural. It always reminds me of those things where after someone after someone uses the restroom, the number two, as they say, and then they spray air freshener, and it's it doesn't actually really mask the smell. It now just smells like flowers and poop, like. So things have gotten better, now there's poopery and stuff. But yeah, so that just kind of reminds me of that. If you have BO and you spray perfume, the perfume's not necessarily going to cover the BO. It can, if you walk really through those hallways in conventions and stuff. But at a concert, you're just going to smell like flowers and BO. And yeah, I will be the first to admit, I occasionally, when I first start the keto diet, I've been on the keto diet on and off for a few years. Currently, I am on, and I'm gonna do it until Easter, and then I'm gonna switch up stuff. But yes, I feel they always talk. So if you know anything about it, there's this thing called the keto flu, which is when you get into ketosis, your body is it's reacting. Your body's not used to not having carbs and sugars. And even if you think about it, it's not even just candy and a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. It's also apples and all those kind of fruit. They have sugar in them. And so on keto, you're not supposed to eat those. You're supposed to eat very, very limited quantities of specific vegetables and stuff because they also have carbs in them, right? So it's more complicated than all that. But your body now is, kind of going through withdrawal essentially. So you kind of can feel, that's why they call it the keto flu. It feels more it's not exactly a flu, but you definitely feel ill. But along with that, I don't know if everyone else suffers from this. This is not something that I look up, but I'm, being honest with you guys. My body odor changes and it's only for about 3 days. I smell like tacos. Literally ground beef from my armpits. And I guess it's because, like, that's not even, I usually eat fish. So it's not like, oh, all I'm eating is ground beef. And so I smell like ground beef. That's not it. I usually eat like salmon. So it's like, why do I smell? I smell like, yeah, like that weird ground beef. Like, so it's weird. So like my body odor, it doesn't smell like normal perspiration. And luckily it only is for that like initial, like during the keto flu session. Because now, like, I'm better. But like, so I will about 3 times a day, I'll use like a washcloth. So like I'll wash my pits and then I'll put the deodorant back on. Does nothing. Even with the deodorant, I still smell like tacos. So, and again, luckily, it's only for like those 3 days, but I'm like, I don't want to be near anybody. But like that, my point being like, yes, sometimes you can't, there are medical reasons why you might have a specific odor and you can't help it. And we definitely shouldn't shame those people. But at the same time, yeah, conventions be stanky and concerts be stanky. And so, yeah, if you are able-bodied, if you are able to, please make sure you remove any unnecessary odors from your body in whatever way you are able to do. I think that sums it up. So this next subject blows my mind at the concept of such waste. And I know that makes me sound like, oh, superior, or like I'm like hypocritical because I own stuff. I'm materialistic. But this, just wait, just listen. Over $30 million worth of Funkos are being dumped. So if you don't know, Funkos are those Funko Pops, like those cute little big-headed, characters or whatever. So if you don't mind, I am just going to read the first, couple sentences of this article. The maker of the Funko Pop collectibles plans to toss millions of dollars worth of its inventory after realizing it has more of its pop culture figurines than it can afford to hold on to. Waning demand for the pop culture vinyl toys, combined with a glut of inventory, is driving the loss as the company hits a financial rough patch. The inventory has filled the company's warehouses to the brim, forcing Funko to rent storage containers to hold the excess product. And now the product is worth less than it costs to keep on hand. Funko said that by the end of the last year, its inventory totaled $246 million worth of product, soaring 48% from a year earlier. So it makes sense from a business perspective for that company that it costs more to store them than it did to make them. So they'll save money on those warehouse storage containers by just getting rid of the stuff. I don't like the term dump because that implies throwing it away, and maybe these things could be recycled because they are out of plastic. So I'd imagine you'd be able to melt down that plastic. I don't know how that works. Melting plastic sounds like cancer-causing toxins, so certainly maybe not. The article is really interesting, so I do suggest you read it because it does say that like adults are still loving these collectibles. Like it's still trending, it's still really popular. So it's not necessarily waning. It's just I somehow made more than they're selling. I don't know if maybe they're not giving it as much because you see it in like GameStop and bookstores and stuff. Like, actually, I've even seen up here or down here, depending on where you are, in Atlanta, there was even like a store of like basically it was a Funko Pop store, and it was just all their product or most of it, and so it's just really interesting to me. It boggles my mind. I'm like, why don't they, and I know it costs money, but I'm like, hire some temp workers to just put these things on like eBay, and be like, because like that, if they have so much product. So if they're like, can you make bundles, how much can you make a full set, so buy the full set of The Walking Dead and put that on eBay. Like, collectors are going to want to pick that up, but maybe not. Maybe I'm assuming they've looked into it. They are a big company, so they know more than me, especially the marketing and stuff that I've done. The research stuff that I have done has always been in the nonprofit sector. So it has not been in products like this. So I'm speaking out of my mouth. Keep it family friendly. But it still just boggles my mind to think about that waste. And I did not get a clear answer to my concern of what they mean by dumping from that article. If you look into it more, let me know in the comments down below. If you know, are they actually like doing it in a way that is environmentally neutral, if not green? Because again, you're working with so much synthetic, like other than like the box is mostly made out of like paper, except for that clear plastic, like, so I don't know. Maybe they really can't do anything, but it just seems like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a political topic. So I'll just drop it. So if you watch my other channel, Tier 2 Works, it's a gaming channel, I live stream on Tuesdays solo. On Sundays, I live stream with my sister, Fel Harbor, who is the second part of the duo of Tier 2 Works. And so on that Tuesday, I had mentioned this article that, again, I feel like I have talked AI voiceover, to death. I don't know that anyone cares anymore, but this is a new aspect that I had mentioned before, and now there are actual specific real examples. AI scams. So there are some, and this is especially, I believe it is actually affecting the older generations, because they might not necessarily be savvy or they still have landlines. But grandparents are getting calls from their grandchildren asking for help. Either they'll say that they, need bail money because they got arrested, or, money to pay for their rent, or just like, hey, can I bum some money off of you or whatever. And it's a scam. They are using the voice of these people to get the money from these unsuspecting people. So I honestly am flabbergasted of how this works, because I understand the technically how it works, right? You get the audio from somebody who makes YouTube videos. You create the voice, and then you find their family. You call, ask for help. I know how it works. Why does it work, right? Like, how do you know that? Let's use me. Well, you can't use me. My grandparents are dead. But let's just sorry, that's not funny, but it's just the way it came out. Sorry. Let's just say, let's use me, right? Let's use me with my parents, not even my grandparents, okay? They use my voice. They call up mama, dada. I do not call them that. So there you go. And they say, hey, mom, I need money to pay rent. Well, I talk to my mom every week, usually. If we don't actually, or if we're not on the phone, we text, right? I am in contact with her at least once every 7 days, sometimes more, occasionally less. But anything big like that, I would have already told her. And we moved to Zoom calls. So I would have said it face to face with her, be like, hey, I'm in a tight crunch. I really need that. She knows that how I live, I would not need rent money. I would not be calling her for rent money. Possibly be like, oh, my dog Cecily got into an accident and I need, money for a surgery, or my car got totaled. Maybe those things, it just wouldn't come out like that. It wouldn't, like, so that's what I mean. Like, how do you know these relationships to actually be like, okay, well, this person doesn't know, but they care enough. For example, when my grandmother was still alive, wouldn't, you wouldn't have to use voice AI to pretend to be me, because she didn't know me well enough to even recognize my voice. There's just no family drama there. I just didn't talk to my grandmother. Some people have wonderful relationships with their grandparents. I did not. Two of them passed away before I was of a memory-making age. One was before I was even born. The other one, I was like maybe 1 year old, maybe 2, but I don't have any memory of her. So I had my maternal grandmother and paternal grandfather. My paternal grandfather passed away when I was between like 9 and 13. I think I was like 11. Um, so, I had as much as a relationship with him as any child who sees a grandparent like 3 times in their life. And then, my maternal grandmother, I did see occasionally. She visited my parents for like a week, that kind of thing. So I had a little bit more. She was the one that I had the most relationship out of any grandparent, but it wasn't like how so many people I cannot relate to say that their grandparents are like a second set of parents. My nibblings, my nieces and nephew, are like that with my parents, which is fantastic. But that I was not like that with my grandmother. So she I think she would remember my name. She knew that that her daughter had 3 kids, but she wouldn't have known my voice. And for me to call her and be like, "Can I have some money because I got put in prison?" Like, she would love the drama of it. She would not give me that money. I would be surprised if she had given me that money. And then towards on her later on in life, so like as this is happening, if she were still alive right now, she died from dementia. So my last visit with her, she did not know who I was. Um, and it confused her for me to say that I was the daughter of her daughter. So I just said I was a family friend. Like that's how it was. She did not know who I was in the best, most innocent of ways. So again, she would not have been a good target. But thinking about me, because my voice is out there, definitely, right? So you could definitely copy my voice. Please don't, but you could. There's no one in my life that would either not know me well enough or would even take the call. Right? Like, I speak to my aunts and uncles, and we have a decent relationship, but I talk to them maybe once a year. I'm Facebook friends with them, So, like, yeah, they know what's going on in my life. My mother talks to them on a weekly basis via Zoom as well. So they know things are going on in my life. They wish me happy birthday, sort of, through Facebook. But I would never call them for help financially. Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I have ever spoken to them directly and not through my parents is if we are throwing my parents like a surprise birthday party or something like that. That's the only time I've ever spoken to them without speaking through my parents, if that makes sense. Like I have like sat down with dinner with just them and not my parents around. Very far in between. So who is this working on? I don't know. And I had seen it. Unfortunately, I did not save the article that I really read. And this other article that I found for me to remember to talk about this is behind a paywall. So sorry, I do not have a good source on this. I will try. Editor Carrie will look it up. But it's just weird to me that of the why does this work? I know how it would work. Why does it work? And I guess that's a very judgmental statement to say. But if you are mimicking an 18-year-old calling their parents, I feel like the parents are still in their life enough to know, like I don't know. I guess it can work. I guess on college kids, yeah, it'd be like, oops, I got caught for drinking while driving, or, I was publicly intoxicated. They grabbed me. Can you give me bail money? Does that even work though? Usually they just make you sleep it off and leave, right? Like I don't think they even release you. I don't know. I've never gotten in trouble with the law. I've only gotten parking tickets and I have been pulled over for speeding in my 20s. But I usually hid those from my parents so I wouldn't be calling them for help. Anyway, that's all I'll say on that. But if you have an opinion, I would love to have this be a bigger conversation in terms of this. I'm going to try my best to not talk about voice AI stuff anymore unless something news groundbreaking happens. This is going to be my last for that because I just feel like we've talked about it enough. I have a lot of other cool topics that I just did not get to. I am trying to keep this a little bit short, so I'm just going to put all of those in the description and just kind of call this week a wash. I also want to let you guys know that next week, yes, next week, I am going to go to, I'm volunteering at VO Atlanta. It's a voiceover conference here in Atlanta. And so, I'm going to be out of pocket from Thursday through Sunday, so I'm not going to have time to record a relevant video for that Monday. So, just letting you guys know, I'm gonna just record a quick little "Hey, I'm not here" kind of thingy just to keep my channel relevant. But just so you know, starting after that, I think I'm going to make a decision, whatever that might be, so that this is a little bit more clear cut on what I talk about per each video. But I think that will do it for me now. So thank you so much for watching. Remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and whatever you are struggling with today will pass. Until next time, stay crazy.